Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. What you're looking at is my Alita 60 that I told you in the first episode of my Fishroom that I was using to replace the Alita 6. The capacity of this air pump is 60 liters per minute. The other air pump was, I believe it was rated at 15 liters per minute. So I've increased the air volume to accommodate the additional tanks. In this video I'm going to show you how I hooked up the central air system. It's a little different than most people use, but when you raise killifish you really can't have a high volume of air going into the tank. This is the pipe coming from the air pump that goes into the fish room. I just want to show you part two. The reason I have the air pump in a separate room away from the fish room is that most Alita pumps were considered noisy, and this one isn't that noisy. However, I do plan on watching TV in the fish room, so I did separate it from the room itself by putting it into the laundry room. Okay YouTube, this is when it enters the fish room. As you can see, I have a T that branches it off into two directions, one going to the left and one going to the right. It goes up over the ceiling, down the wall, and again back down this wall, and again you see two brass fittings there that are drilled directly into the PVC, which feeds this bank of aquariums here. Sorry about that, guys. It's feeding this bank of aquariums, and it goes around the wall, back around, and feeds this section of the fish room, which includes this bank of 10-gallon aquariums as well as the 20-gallon aquariums that I'm going to add later. In the first video I covered the fact that I use these separate airline controllers or air valves to control each aquarium, and these are perfect for actually controlling the airflow. Now the 1/2-inch PVC gives me enough volume of air, but you know, I needed to fine-tune the airflow because a lot of my aquariums I have small fry in and the flow was just simply too much. When I experimented with this system, I couldn't control the valves coming off of the PVC tubing enough to prevent the fry from being bounced around. That's the reason I decided to go with the separate air valves to control the actual flow. And I still get enough volume off of the feeds from the air valves that are connected to the PVC to be able to run one line per row of tanks, and actually it gives me enough control over the airflow to be able to, you know, adjust the airflow when needed, either increase it or decrease it depending on the occupants of the tank. But most killifish do not enjoy being bounced around in the tank. That you keep in mind, they come from small streams that you know, are quiet. However, you still need the filtering action. Since I'm using predominantly sponge filters, I still needed enough current going through them to be able to filter the water. So guys, that is the way I set up the central air system. I hope some of you guys can learn from this. In conclusion, one of the problems with the Alita pump was that it is considered noisy. Now, if I shut up, you can hear the noise level in this room. As you can see, it's very quiet. I didn't find the pump that loud. However, I did make the choice to put it in another room because I do plan on having a TV in this room. And so in order to watch it without having the volume too high, I decided to move the pump in another room. I've seen some of the videos on YouTube, and essentially the problem I think a lot of people have with the Alita is simply that they don't have enough PVC tubing to dissipate the volume of air that is generated by the pump itself. It is recommended that you use at least 10 feet before you start adding valves to add to the aquariums. But this is impossible, so I would recommend a different type of pump if the noise level is going to be a problem. But in this situation, it's not been a problem, and I believe I probably could have put it in this room, but you know, I did put it in another room, and so the fish room is still relatively quiet. So once again, guys, as you can see, I've got the top row of tanks running and the lighting semi in place. And the next video, I'm going to cover how I light all of these tanks and how I connect them to a central timer and so forth. So stay tuned for the next chapter in the fish room. And once again, guys, thanks for watching.